Look, there are times and there are seasons when different asset classes take the lead, make all the money. And when you know what's going to happen, you need to rotate over to the fastest horse. So with that in mind, where are we at right now, and where is everything headed in 2025? Well, all the data could be pointing towards the fact that now is the time to buy crypto, not stocks. Not saying you can't buy stocks and they won't do well. It's just that crypto is going to be the faster horse. You'll still make money on stocks, but you'll make more money on crypto. Will that be the case forever? No, obviously not. Crypto is super volatile and cycles keep cycling. But let me tell you why that's the situation at the moment and why it's so critical to be well positioned now so you can make the most of the rest of the year and the rest of the cycle. So first of all, let's compare the crypto total market cap and the S&P 500. Take a look here on the monthly, and we can compare the relative strength of the entire cryptocurrency market in relation to the stock market. And it's a relatively clear picture. Crypto is currently in the zone where it is testing its previous highs against the S&P 500 all the way back from the bull run of 2021. It looks like it's in a huge ascending triangle that could go back to the end of 2024 and could be ready for a massive breakout. The MACD also shows an unusually orderly and ongoing increase in bullish momentum. It's also not overheated on the RSI. So if you put it all together, the strongest likelihood here is that crypto breaks to the upside. It breaks through the resistance and it goes to new highs against the stock market, meaning that the prices of crypto will outpace the move in stocks. So if you need to select which asset class to allocate to, crypto in that case could be the better option. And again, there'll be stocks that will have fantastic performance during this period. Don't get me wrong, stocks will still make money. And by the way, don't forget, this time around it's not just crypto degens, bro. No. They're not the only ones weighing up the opportunities right now. We've got ETFs. We have publicly listed crypto treasury firms at work here as well. Wall Street's waking up to the fact that crypto exists and that they are massively underallocated. Funds are putting money in. Big money is coming in from Wall Street. Let's also take a look at Bitcoin and the QQQ, the triple Q. But before we dive into that, guys, if you're trading on the cryptocurrency markets, you need a good exchange to do it at. That place is BitUnix, where I'm doing most of my futures trading these days. If you want to join me, it's never been a better time to sign up for BitUnix, one of the hottest exchanges of the cycle. And here's the deal. No KYC, no VPN, no BS, available to anyone, anywhere. When you use this link right down here, you're going to get some insane bonuses straight away. 30% fee discount. You go to VIP level 3 trial. You're going to get $40 in cash back deposit bonuses. You deposit $2,000 to get $400 cash back. Plus, you can get up to $8,000 in 3 Ethereum in trading bonuses, which is absolutely bonkers, crazy stuff. So if you want to participate in that, get those deals, link down below. Go check it out. Thank you very much. Okay, so the QQQ. This is a tech-heavy index. It's more of a risk on measure than the S&P 500, so it's more closely in alignment with crypto. But if we take a look at Bitcoin and the QQQ in relation to one another, you can see a similar story to what I've just talked about. Although in this particular case, it looks like BTC is further along in its relative bull run. Again, BTC has been outperforming since the end of 2024. But here, it's broken cleanly above all-time highs, meaning it's going into discovery from the last bull run and has continued rising. And again, there's a sense of orderliness to all of its gains. Volumes are high. The MACD is bullish. So we've got continued relative strength. And the RSI also showing positive, speaking of relative strength. So the momentum is continuing, but it isn't in overbought territory yet, meaning there's a lot of fuel left in the tank. Maybe we're in a rising wedge that'll see a bigger breakdown later on as stocks outperforming crypto lags, particularly Bitcoin. But that's a later us problem to think about. Although overall, this chart shows BTC asserting itself as the dominant risk on asset this year and the place into which money from Wall Street is rotating. Also, if we take these two charts together, BTC, QQQ, and the total, so that's all the crypto coins versus the S&P 500, then they reinforce one another as you'd expect, but also they show Bitcoin as the earlier mover and the leading asset compared to crypto in total, which means the total crypto market still has a lot of room to make a decisive catch-up move into price discovery, even lower risk assets like Ethereum, Solana, stuff like that will provide bigger returns than Bitcoin. Bitcoin will provide bigger returns than many stocks, not all stocks, okay? And this is actually what you'd expect to see in later stages of a cryptocurrency bull market when ETH and altcoins start coming into their own. And where has attention been flowing recently? Of course, towards Ethereum. Everyone's getting very, very bullish on ETH as Wall Street piles gargantuan sums of money into the asset. It's currently outperforming Bitcoin when it comes to seasonal gains, while both ETH ETFs and ETH treasury firms, along with ETH mega whales, have all been out here stacking super hard. So with all of that in mind, there's also our overall position in the 4-year cycle. If the 4-year cycle is even relevant, that's a whole nother conversation point, and I'm starting to think that we might break it this cycle. It's a very good chance that we do because we're entering the maturation phase of the cryptocurrency market class. The 4-year cycle is too simplistic of a model. Anyway, it's all pointing towards crypto over stocks regardless. For all the talk that rolls around about the 4-year cycle breaking as Bitcoin grows, and don't get me wrong, I really think that's a possibility, but the reality is that all markets move in some kind of cycles, and the current Bitcoin cycle has more or less gone kind of as expected, and I think we still have a lot more upside, and it could go for longer than we think, but let's just say in the short term versus stocks, crypto is probably going to still be the better bet. So sure, we got a new all-time high before the halving, which never happened before, and when it comes to alts, it seems like you need to be more selective than in previous bull markets because of the extreme dilution of altcoins in the market, but then there are a shit ton more coins to choose from than ever before, so it gets pretty tricky. Which coins are you going to buy? Which ones are actually going to outperform? Make sure people are talking about your coin. Otherwise, no one's going to buy your coin. So maybe that's just the dilution rather than anything breaking the overall cycle. Maybe the cycle is doing just fine. It's just that altcoins have struggled more to get bid. But the point is that if you just bought and sold Bitcoin according to cycle mechanics, you'd be doing just fine this time around without even looking at the charts. And that means the end of this year is, in theory, according to the Bitcoin 4-year cycle, exactly when crypto should outperform dramatically versus stocks and hit its cycle peak. But then does all this mean that the stock market is cooked? No. And I still think the idea that we follow stocks up for another 2.5 years for an average bull market length for stocks is a very compelling narrative. Stocks certainly will keep making money. In fact, I think stocks will do very well with rate cuts and changes to the Fed coming, the US economy continue to boom. Anyway, I'm never going to be all in on one particular asset class. My biggest personal holding is Bitcoin, but I also have a shit ton of stocks. The idea here is what's going to be the fastest horse? What has the chance to make bigger gains over the same period of time to maximize gains? And here's the key factor to remember. Although crypto has a reputation as the wildest casino in town, an insanely volatile asset class, it is kind of a crazy place. The reality is that moments do come when it all comes together and massive gains come in. The kind of gains you can only dream about in a very short amount of time. The whole crypto market hits boiling point, the mania takes over, and you can see all the pieces of mania brewing. The treasury companies, like, this is stupid stuff, but it's happening, okay? That kind of everything pumps scenario is exactly the expectation. And when it's done, and we crash back to reality, and these treasury companies go broke and bankrupt and fraud gets exposed and all that kind of stuff. So you have to take full advantage when the window is open to make the money and to sell the things that you bought low, which means being allocated in advance before the blow off top season actually rolls around. So to be clear, I like stocks, I buy stocks, I've got a whole bunch of stocks in my portfolio, okay, including crypto treasury companies, but they're a very small part of my overall stock portfolio. I like those, they're interesting, but I'm so balls deep in crypto already. I don't want that much more crypto exposure, which is what the crypto treasury companies are. I prefer my stocks to more so be in other stuff. Yeah, but stocks will continue to do well. Still bullish on a lot of stocks. AI, robotics, nuclear energy. I mean, how are they going to power all this AI stuff? They need to double the energy capacity in the USA. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point, but stocks are still bullish. Crypto is probably just more bullish, especially dog coins. Thanks for watching.